Welcome to Starwatch Now, your front row seat to all the hottest gossip, drama, and breaking news from the world of entertainment. If it's trending, shocking, or star-studded, we're covering it. Stay tuned. You won't want to miss what's coming next. Imagine stepping onto a plane, thinking it's just another ordinary flight, and suddenly finding yourself only a few seats away from one of Asia's brightest stars, Wang Yibo. What would you do? Stay quiet or seize the moment? Today on Starwatch Now, we bring you the captivating story of a Tsinghua University student whose once-in-a-lifetime encounter turned into a heartfelt confession. She boarded the plane with the quiet composure of a student used to discipline and routine. In her hand was a book, something she had planned to read to pass the hours in the air. Yet the moment she settled into her seat, she felt an unusual sense of anticipation, though she could not explain why. As the flight attendants moved through the aisle and passengers shuffled to find their places, she lifted her eyes for a brief moment, and that was when her entire world shifted. Only a few seats away sat Wang Yibo, the name she had seen countless times on glowing screens, the face that had appeared in posters, dramas, and performances that carried the weight of fame. Now, in the soft hum of an ordinary flight, he was real, so close that she could see the way the brim of his cap cast a shadow across his eyes. Her heart began to race in a rhythm she could not control. Logic told her to remain calm, to behave as though nothing had changed, but her emotions betrayed her. Each turn of a page in her book became heavier, her fingers trembling slightly as if the words had lost their meaning. She found herself wondering what to do. Should she greet him, risk breaking the fragile bubble of quiet he seemed to value? Should she reach into her bag, pull out the small candy she carried, and offer it as a symbol of recognition? Or should she simply remain still, content to share the same space with someone who represented so many dreams? As she wrestled with these thoughts, her gaze returned to him again and again. There he was, dressed in black, face partly hidden, and yet the aura was undeniable. It was not the dazzling light of the stage that surrounded him now, but a gentler kind of radiance, an aura that came from his calm, his stillness, his humanity. For the first time, she understood that the people we admire from afar are not untouchable stars, but individuals who seek the same ordinary moments of peace that we all do. Watching him read quietly, she felt a deep respect, an almost protective instinct to let him enjoy that solitude without intrusion. The hours of the flight stretched on, and in each passing minute, she felt the tension between desire and restraint. She imagined how he might respond if she gathered the courage to lean forward and say something. Perhaps he would smile politely, perhaps he would accept the candy, perhaps even offer a few words of kindness. Yet she also imagined the opposite, that her small action might disturb him, draw unwanted attention, and transform a moment of serenity into an awkward scene. And so she chose silence, letting admiration take the shape of unspoken words. In her heart she whispered a confession. Meeting him, even without a conversation, was already more than enough. It was a memory worth carrying forever, a reminder that some encounters, however fleeting, can hold the weight of a lifetime. Her confession, though never spoken aloud, carried the weight of something extraordinary. In her mind she whispered the words she could not bring herself to say, that this single encounter, unplanned and fleeting, felt more precious than any prize, as if fate itself had placed her in the same space as someone she had admired from afar for years. For her, it was not about photographs, autographs, or evidence to share with the world. It was about the quiet privilege of existing in the same moment, breathing the same air, and realizing that sometimes the greatest treasures are not the ones you can show others, but the ones you keep within your heart. What struck her most was not his fame, but his ordinariness. She had always seen him surrounded by blinding lights, roaring crowds, and the polished perfection of the stage. Yet here, on a plane thousands of feet above the earth, he was simply a young man reading quietly, lost in his own world. That contrast touched her deeply. It revealed that the people we raise onto pedestals are not immune to the simplest of human needs: peace, rest, and stillness. In that discovery, she felt a tenderness she had not expected, as though her admiration transformed into something purer, something that sought not to claim his attention but to protect his solitude. She reflected on the nature of admiration itself. Was it true devotion to interrupt him just to satisfy her own longing? Or was it greater love to remain silent, to let him have the freedom he so rarely enjoyed? In choosing the latter, she felt a quiet strength, as though she had honored him not as a distant star but as a fellow human being. That choice gave her peace, and it made her realize that courage does not always mean stepping forward. Sometimes it means holding back, resisting the urge to act, and instead cherishing the beauty of restraint. In her silence, she also discovered a truth about herself. The emotions that rushed through her, the racing heartbeat, the trembling hands, the swirl of hope and hesitation, were not signs of weakness but reminders of how deeply human connections can move us, even when no words are exchanged. She understood that this moment would live within her, not as regret for what she did not do, but as gratitude for what she experienced. It was the kind of memory that could be revisited on quiet nights, a story to tell not with proof but with feeling, a secret she could treasure as long as she lived. And so, her unspoken confession became more powerful than anything she might have said. It was a reminder that some encounters are meant to be brief, yet they echo far beyond their length. They teach us that admiration can be silent, respect can be wordless, and love, in its truest form, is often about giving space rather than taking it. For her, this chance meeting was not the beginning of a story nor the climax of a dream. It was a moment suspended in time, a fleeting miracle that reminded her how extraordinary life can be when we least expect it. What makes this encounter remarkable is not only the thrill of sitting near a world-famous star, but also the lesson it quietly teaches about the relationship between admiration and respect. In an age where every moment can be captured and broadcast to millions within seconds, the temptation to claim proof of proximity is immense. A photograph could ignite envy among peers, a short clip might spread like wildfire on social media, and one simple interaction could generate waves of attention. Yet this young woman chose a different path. She resisted the urge to convert the encounter into evidence and instead allowed it to remain a private memory, delicate and unspoiled. That decision, though it may seem small, revealed a depth of understanding many overlook. Respecting someone's personal space, especially a figure like Wang Yibo who rarely escapes the gaze of cameras, is an act of quiet bravery. It acknowledges that even those who shine the brightest deserve moments of anonymity, moments where they can simply exist without performance, without expectation. By choosing not to intrude, she gave him something far more valuable than applause or recognition. She gave him peace. And in doing so, she discovered that true admiration is not about demanding a piece of someone, but about cherishing the gift of their presence, however fleeting. This perspective shifts the way we think about fandom. Too often admiration is measured by proximity, by signatures collected, by pictures taken, by interactions shared online. Yet here, admiration took a different shape. It was intangible, invisible, but no less powerful. It became a story not of conquest but of reverence, not of possession but of appreciation. It was love distilled into respect, devotion expressed through restraint. In that choice, she became more than a fan. She became a guardian of the moment, protecting its purity. Perhaps, without her realizing it, her silence spoke volumes. A respectful gaze, a decision to hold back, a choice to admire without disrupting. These are gestures that often reach further than words. Wang Yibo may not have known who she was, may never recall her face, but perhaps he felt, if only for a brief second, that he was not being watched as an idol, but simply seen as a person. And that recognition, however subtle, can be as healing as it is rare. This story reminds us that encounters with those we admire are not always meant to be shared with the world. Sometimes they are meant to be personal, a reminder that beauty exists in the simplest exchanges of space and time. It challenges us to rethink what it means to be close to someone we look up to. Is closeness measured in selfies and signatures, or in the courage to let them breathe, to let them remain untouched by our expectations? In the end, the true miracle of that flight was not just that she sat near Wang Yibo, but that she learned the power of admiration rooted in respect. That choice elevated a chance encounter into something timeless, something she would carry not as evidence for others, but as a treasure within herself. So, what would you do if you sat next to Wang Yibo on a flight? Would you dare to offer that small piece of candy? Or would you choose to treasure the quiet magic of the moment? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And if this story touched your heart, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to Starwatch now, and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss the next inspiring celebrity story. Sparkles, thank you for watching. Stay kind, stay inspired, and we'll see you in the next video.